Welcome to the Uganda We Want, part 2 with her worship, Deputy Lord Mayor Doreen Nyanjura. My name is Robert Mulanzi. She is a human activist, a politician, and of course, a mother, if I'm right.
Yes, yes.
She is a mother, and she is a Ugandan and a senior citizen as well, with in her 32 years. Yeah, so she's a senior citizen as well. And she loves to fight for people's rights, which I think you and I, if we want to really achieve the Uganda we want, we should be for that. So she's going to continue from where we stopped last time. And she was talking about the rotten system. Oh, I marked that word, the rotten system. And my question to you, and of course you'll answer it after greeting our viewers, how can we go away? How can we get rid of the rotten system? Just greet our viewers and then you straight away answer my question.
Thank you so much for having me here, and I send my greetings to the viewers. Thank you so much for watching Dream TV. We appreciate the role that this TV has played in sensitizing our citizens and in also making Uganda a better place. I was talking about the rotten system. And I had only given an example of the judicial system and how rotten it is. Now, this does not only stop at the judicial system. Look at our parliament. And on several occasions, we have had the head of state saying, for him, as long as he has NRM MPs who can sleep, but when they can be tapped, they can walk up and vote and say yes, then that is good enough. That these members of parliament, and you've heard Museveni say my parliament, because he knows whatever he tells these MPs to do,
they will do it.
They will do it. If he tells them, please impeach this one, they will impeach him. If he tells them, please dance, they will dance. So for me, that is how rotten this system is. And we could go back to the period of Tojukwatako.
2017.
Now, these MPs were given money to go and consult in their constituencies. And their constituents were telling them, Temujikwatako, please do not amend the constitution. But when they came here, one man told them the constitution must be amended. Mujikwateko. And they all went against their constituents. So for me, when we talk about representation, it means I am supposed to represent the views of my people.
Not my views.
Not the views of Mr. Museveni, because I don't think they are views of those MPs. Some of them do not even believe in some of the views that they represent in parliament. It's because one man tells them, you must say this. And they all hurry and do what? And do the same. If you talk to them, they will tell you why. Did you want me to lose my seat? Did you want me to lose my ministerial position? So for me, you cannot say... You've heard these things. So meaning, we don't have a parliament. Because for me, parliament should be an institution that is there to represent the voices of those that they represent. But if we have a parliament that is going to be run at the whims of one individual, then that cannot be called a parliament. It cannot be, it is not there to legislate on behalf of citizens. And the current incident that happened, the impeachment of Honorable Zake Francis, for me that set a very bad precedent, especially for the opposition. And I've been at the forefront. And I have been at the forefront to fight on behalf and for the Honorable Zake. With all the reservations that I might be having. Because for me, this is not about Zake. This is about the entire opposition. And this is how these things start, by the way. In Yala, all shades of opinion are supposed to be represented in parliament. But you all know what currently is happening. If you want to go in Yala, even if you're in opposition, you have to go and be voted for, even by NRM. So now they will vote for good DP, good FDC, good UPC. Of course, FDC is not good. That is why you have not had any member of parliament after Muntu and after all this nonsense was introduced. That now it is NRM who is deciding for the opposition who should sit, who should go and represent us, and say, who should represent us in Yala. That we can, and you know what it took? Mbide had to appear on Museveni's rally, and he was introduced.
Wow.
You get it? So for me, this is how these things start. That the deputy speaker thinks she has monopoly to abuse and mock those that have been tortured by the system that she works for, a system that she supports. However, she thinks those that she insults and mocks should not be annoyed. Because we all know she made fun of Zake, claiming, oh, now this Zake was tortured, but he has managed to win a gold medal. And for me, she was not mocking Zake. She was mocking all Ugandans that have been tortured innocently by the system that we oppose. I carry scars on my face. These are scars that have been subjected to me, courtesy of my political views. But the speaker says, no, this Zake abused me, and therefore
something should be done.
He must cease being a commissioner.
Okay.
Next time, they will choose for us the leader of opposition. And you tell me we have a parliament? A parliament where a speaker can bribe MPs and they impeach an opposition member of parliament at the expense of the security minister. Because we all know this country is in a crisis. The security minister is not doing what he's supposed to do. So you're saying Zaka should go for abusing the speaker, but the security minister should not be answerable for the crimes that have been committed against humanity. I'm talking about Kakweza. He's a personal friend. And we know the kind of torture that he has been subjected to, and several other Ugandans that up to now are still languishing in prison. And you tell me we have a parliament? We are talking about increase, hiked prices, and our country is busy
discussing other issues.
Discussing how the speaker was abused. And therefore, Zake should be impeached. So are you going to tell me that we have a parliament? So for me, we don't have a parliament. We don't have a judiciary. So institutions in this country are completely broke. Are completely broken down. And I've had people say, oh, Nyanjura, but you're also part of government. I have told people that I am not part of government. I cannot be part of what does not exist. We don't have a government in this country.
Might be the good thing they did for you is to educate you.
What do you mean?
You didn't get a government scholarship?
What are you talking about? Why didn't the rest get it? My friend, it was my brains. You get
Not
it?
the government.
No. There are several other people who would have loved. So it was my brain that educated me, and it has seen me come this far. So for me, we don't have a government.
Let me take you back to Parliament, because you're talking about an institution that is supposed to be more for the people, because it is us who elect them and send them to Parliament. If you say we don't have the Parliament, if someone who is watching us is asking him or herself, then how can we have a Parliament in this country? That is for people.
Let me
do
tell
the
you.
right thing.
How can we have a parliament? For me, that goes back. How are these members of parliament in parliament?
Okay.
You get it? Do they go through a system that is free and fair? Do they go through an election that is transparent? I think your guess is as good as mine. Definitely not. Many of them are in parliament because people have been intimidated and beaten and others killed for them to be members of parliament. The other percentage is in parliament because they have bought their way to parliament. You move around this country, you'll find Ugandans being offered 10,000, 5,000, in Nyanjura'S even matchboxes. You get it? And our voters, by the way, have since moved from demanding for services from us because this government of Mr. Museveni has totally failed them. Now they also demand for handouts. That for you, even if you're good,
Handshake.
even if you're good, you have brilliant ideas, and you do not have money, then definitely you'll not do what? You'll not make it to parliament. So these are the kind of leaders that we have in that parliament. They have not gone through an election that is free and fair. They are simply in parliament because they support a system that has guns, because they support a system that has an electoral commission that is going to let those that support NRM go through. So unless we deal with the question of, unless we deal with the how they come to parliament, by having an electoral commission that is independent, by having an electoral commission that is impartial, then we are still going to have members of parliament that we have. You'll ask me, what about those in opposition?
I was going to ask, but before that, someone, we hosted someone a few days ago, and he was actually suggesting that if possible, let's have a dependent electoral commission than independent, because he says he believes what we have is not independent.
Of course it's not. It's
so you're in agreement with him.
It just has the word independent.
Yeah, because I see that
But it's not independent, because okay, for me, I will say I will need an electoral commission that is impartial. But you cannot have Judge Byabakama, who was at the forefront, by the way, of fighting and tormenting and torturing Dr. Kizza Besigye. And you tell him that is the man who is going to head the electoral commission. What do you expect? Do you expect justice from there? Definitely not. Definitely not. So you'll not achieve that. You'll not get anything out of there. And of course, I was going to say, you're going to say, but you're here. You have some members of parliament in the opposition. But how do they go to parliament? They go to parliament amidst all odds. They go to parliament amidst bullets, tear gas, military tankers, mambas, name it. So they actually do not win an election, they win a war. You get it? Yes, and that is how they make it to parliament. That is how they make it to parliament. They fight. It's a war. They fight with guns, military tanks, tear gas, pepper spray. Even other people lose their lives. So those are the few representatives of the opposition that we have in parliament. It has never been a walkover for them. And for me, elections, leadership should not be like that. Yes?
Okay. The few that you've talked about who are in parliament, and a few of you who are outside, who are in different positions, but you're serving and fighting for the people, takes me back to my question. How can we get rid of this system?
For me, I think
we sign out on the...
We have so many case studies. We have so many countries where we can pick a leaf from. And you can use different means, by the way. It can be through an election, and we are saying that cannot work. We are saying it can, we also know it can be through war, but we are saying that is Museveni way of doing things. For us, you are past killing people simply because you want to come to power. You get it? So that is another way. But we also know that you can use civil disobedience, non-violence means, mass uprising, and we have seen this work. We've seen this work in Serbia, where students, by the way, where students, university students, brought down a military dictator because they organized and they said enough is enough. We saw what happened in Ukraine. There was a movement called the Orange Revolution.
The Orange Revolution.
You know the Orange Revolution? Did they use guns? All they needed was an uprising. All they needed was numbers. All they needed was for citizens to say, enough is enough. You get it? All was for the citizens to say enough is enough. And that is why I go back to say that this struggle is not for individuals, because a few of us may not be able to bring down the dictator. It should be an obligation. It should be a responsibility for all the citizens. And me being a feminist, I should also tell you that the women in Liberia also did something.
The women in Liberia?
The women in Liberia,
okay.
They prayed the devil back to hell. They put aside their religious differences and came together and camped and waited for Charles Taylor. And they told him, sir, we want you out of power. Of course, for them, they went extreme. They even denied their husband sex. And they told them we wanted peace. And eventually, they ended up having a female president. So for me, it is the commitment.
The commitment.
It is us saying enough is enough, and we raise up to the occasion. Nothing is impossible. Wow.
Yes, Her Worship, I just want to ask you one more question, and then I think we'll be done for today. And this is in line with the opposition side now. Why is it that you as the opposition are not united and are not uniting? If you're refuting that, definitely you have to...
I am not refuting that. But for me, I don't think we must be... I don't even understand the word united, by the way. It is such a huge word. As far as I'm concerned, or the entire opposition is united against Museveni, or that should be the responsibility.
So you as the opposition are not united?
But, well, that is what you keep claiming. And for me, I don't think we need to be united.
Okay.
In order for us to bring down the dictator, in order for us to talk about change. I believe in many fronts, different struggle.
Many fronts, different struggles.
Yes, I believe in many fronts, different struggles. Because we all have different talents, we all have different capabilities. That you, Robert, if you have your, if what you can contribute to the struggle is music, then go and do it, just like Laka Dube and Miriam Makeba. That is also a contribution to the struggle. If you have the gift of writing, go out there, write, like Maya Angelou and the other authors that we celebrate. That is also a contribution to the struggle. If me, Nyanjura, I have a voice, I have mobilization skills, then I should go out there and use my mobilization skills to mobilize against the military dictator. So, and I can give you examples. Even when you go to South Africa, during apartheid, there wasn't one political party. There was ANC, there was this one headed by Chris Hani. You get it? I hope you remember Chris Hani, who was murdered. You get it? There were also the other one for Steve Biko, Black Consciousness Movement. You get it? But these were all opposition. And in most times, by the way, they were not agreeing. When you go to the US, we had, when the blacks were fighting against the white domination, we had Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X were never on the same page. Right? Malcolm X felt Martin Luther King was too soft to bring down the dictator, to fight for their rights. And I remember, for me, I'm a very big fan of Malcolm X. I think you can see him there. And I actually believe in what he says. Be peaceful, be courteous, obey the law, respect everyone. But if someone puts his hand on you, then deal with those people. So, but they never believed. They were not united. So for me, this should not be used as an excuse. We all can do what we can. We all can contribute to the struggle differently. And we shouldn't, and you know, there are instances, you don't even have to plan for unity. There are instances where as opposition, we have automatically united. For example, during the Mavila demonstration, is there anyone who told the opposition, please unite, please unite? It simply happened because that was our cause. We all felt we must join. During Tojikwataku, Is there anyone who came and said you need to unite? You get it?
You
but
all
as
united.
the opposition, we stood up and said, Tebaja jikwatako. During walk to work. So for me, the unity will come. But for now, we can continue doing what we can. If you're NOP, continue fighting. If you're FDC, continue fighting. If you're PFT, continue fighting. Maybe all I am saying is that the only thing we need to stop is underestimating each other. But for unity,
from the opposition
that will,
side.
Yes, let's stop undermining each other. For unity, that will automatically, that will come when there is need for that to come. Now, the other challenge, I think why we have faced the several challenges that we have, is calling for unity during elections. And for me, I find that is wrong. We shouldn't only talk about unity during elections because we come from different political parties. And maybe that is one of the disadvantages of political parties. For example, if I am from FDC, FDC has its own ideals and objectives. NOP has its own ideals and objectives. UPC has its own ideals and objectives. You get it? So we should not reduce the struggle to mere elections. Because after all, we are not going to bring change in this country through an election. We all know the election is not free and fair. So we can't talk about unity because unity is a good thing, but unity is not the ultimate goal for us to bring down the dictator. Unity will automatically come. The way it has come during Tojikwatako, the way it has come during the Mabila demonstrations, the way it has come during walk to work. I believe in different fronts, one struggle. Do what you can. I'll also do what I can.
Are you convinced that you're really together in the fight against removing the dictator as opposition?
For me, unless you don't understand the meaning of the word struggle. The word struggle is you're struggling.
Until
you're struggling. That in the struggle, you'll have hypocrites, you'll have those that are going to betray the struggle, you'll have snakes, those that are going to divide you, you'll have those that will keep consistent in the struggle, and you'll have those that will drop off along the way. And the struggle has been like that world over. You get it? Probably 20 years, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. No, 10 years ago it was a bit known. No one even knew about Nyanjura. You get it? We used to hear about the likes of Anne Mujisha, and these are the people that recruited us in the struggle. But Anne Mujisha is now in a different world. She's, I don't know, maybe she's contributing to the struggle differently. So for me, the struggle is like that. Others join, others leave. Others fall off. And maybe the challenge is Ugandans are impatient. And I think it's the propaganda coming from the other side. Yes, we all badly want change. But I don't want anyone to start saying, oh, Besja has been here for so long. He has failed to bring about change. And this is why I go back. It is not about PSG. Yes, our plan can be to see the dictator thrown out even today. But that may not happen. Some struggles can take 5 years. Others can take 100 years. Others can take 20 years. So for me, the struggle does not have a fixed timeline. I can be saying I want Museveni to go tomorrow and the man goes today. So for me, that is the struggle. And I think we really need to appreciate the struggle.
Something, and then I remembered it is from the Green Party and you're putting on green. So I don't know if you'll be comfortable to talk about the Mao thing. Attacking Nope.
You so see, recently I posted myself putting on a green dress, and I said, green doesn't look bad on me. Maybe I need to go to DP and help them impeach their president. Because for me, you can never see this nonsense in FDC. That you have a president who has reduced himself, I don't know about what. He's here abusing A, abusing this one, abusing D. And that is where we lose it. Because NUP should not be our focus. It's not NUP that is killing our people. It is not NUP that is making our people sleep hungry. It is not NUP that is making our children drop out of school. So for me, I think Mao is simply on a mission. And no wonder these days, it is the first son, Mozi Kainerugaba, who is always praising him. It's unfortunate. that you're the party president. Because, you know, when you are leader...
And those are issues
when
that
you are
you're
leader,
dealing with now. That
when you are leader, the society expects you to have some bare minimum, the traits of a leader, that you have to respect yourself. Now imagine, those that is leading are the ones calling him to order. But where are these DP supporters? Are they still there? Why are they quiet? Why can't they bring their president to order? Because he's totally out of hand. And I don't think we should give him the platform to continue with what he's currently doing.
Yeah, because I think that as well, I don't know, from your side, that as well is also affecting your struggle.
And I have told you, and I have told you that is the struggle. In the struggle, you'll have the likes of Norbert Mao. How did Numbers call them? Watermelon. No, pumpkin. He said they are... You get it. So for me, that is the struggle. You'll have the likes of Norbert Mao. You'll have all sorts of people. You'll have people who will pretend to be part of you when they have never been part of you. So struggle never mao na wote bakola chi na wote babulamu era nabo bajja kubeeramu. But that is the struggle. You'll meet all these challenges.
Yeah. So people have the public, and some people from the public are like, okay, the opposition, they use the word your voice makers. I don't know how you can address that. Some people think the opposition is just making noise.
You see, for me, I love reading, and I read. And for the people that I admire, I try to find out what inspired them to be who they are. For example, I've been reading about Maya Angelou. She has like 6 volumes of her autobiography. She's narrating what she went through. And probably that is what hardened her. She did a lot of things, barmaid, went into prostitution, gave birth at her first attempt to sleep with a man to test how it felt like, was raped by the stepfather, and all that. When you look at Che Guevara, you mean this is a man who left his country to go and liberate another country, left Argentina to go and liberate Cuba. I mean, if you're to read his history, and this is a person who had issues, he had asthma, but he was in the bush. And it was during those moments that he even wrote his book that every day he used to take down notes. If you look at Malcolm X, you know that the house of the father was put down by fire because he was not supporting the system. You know, he was imprisoned and all that, and eventually he joins the nation of... He eventually joins the Nation of Islam. When you look at Winnie Mandela, you know that this is a woman who was arrested countless times, put into solitary confinement. Now, the problem with Ugandans, they don't even know what they support. You'll find someone supporting Martin Luther King, but he doesn't know a thing about Martin Luther King. But that is the same person who is insulting Bobby Wine. That is the same person who is insulting Besigye. And yet these are people who are doing the same things that Martin Luther King used to do. Do you get my point? You'll find someone praising Gandhi, but he doesn't know anything about Gandhi. It's the same person praising Gandhi, and he's here saying these are hooligans. These are noisemakers. Oh, Bobby Wine, you're a hooligan. That one is a musician. But this person is a very big fan of Lucky Dube. This person is a very big fan of, who is this other guy? Don't give up the fight. There's that other guy for reggae who is very common. You get it? So you'll find them talking about, they love Martin Luther King, they love Lucky Dube, they love Gandhi. But for you here, when you try to do the same thing, they say you're hooligans. They say you're noisemakers. So for me, I've always given people an example. As a mother, if I have twins, and I have Kato. Kato is docile. When Kato is hungry, he keeps quiet. He does not cry. He does not ask for food. Then I also have Mumuitani. For us to call him Wisingoma. Or Babidi. You have Babidi. Or you have Waswa. For Waswa, for him, when he's hungry, he's going to kick, he's going to make noise, he's going to do anything to attract, to cause an alarm that something is wrong. So for me as a mother, which child would I feed first?
Of course, on our cousins are around.
You get it? So for me, if we're in a crisis, we have to make noise. We have to fight for this country. We have to show that something is wrong. We have to make an alarm. But if you think that you're going to just massage the dictator, you cannot massage the dictator out of power. You cannot massage the dictator out of power. The dictator must be kicked out of power. So for those who can make noise, go on and make the noise. For those who can go beyond the noise, make the noise. Ultimately, making noise is much, much, much better than simply keeping quiet.
Well, finally, speak some sense to the youth. Uganda is a young nation, you know that.
Yes.
And the entire world knows it. So, as a country, have we really embraced that? And how can we embrace that to achieve the Uganda you want?
Now, world over, it's young people that have caused change and liberations in their country. The Mugisha Muntus, the Musevenis we talk about, all by then were youths. Now, what is happening? Museveni has killed an entire generation. Currently, the likes of Lord Mayor should not be competing to be Lord Mayors. They would be going for head of state, prime minister, those big positions. So for me, the young people, I do not want you to underestimate yourselves. You do not need a Harvard degree for you to offer leadership. You do not even need to come from a rich background for you to offer leadership. I come from a very humble background. My father was a secondary teacher. My mother a P3 dropout, but that has not stopped me from offering leadership. So young people out there, temwe nyoma. And you know, if you look at the Bush War, we had Kadogos, by the way. Over 5 years, 7 years, they were in the bush, allegedly, to fight for freedom. And for us, we are telling you, you don't need a gun. All you need is a peaceful demonstration. All you need is to speak out and tell Museveni that enough is enough. And me being a gender scholar, this is also a message to the ladies. We need to be deliberate. We need to train ourselves beyond knowing how to be good housewives, beyond knowing how to enlarge hips for our men. Women, it's high time that we also focused on things that matter. You'll not find a man planning on how to be a good husband, on how to be good looking. You get it? The men are concentrating on how to be billionaires. The men are concentrating on how to offer leadership, and this is the kind of literature that they are reading. If we really need an equitable, if we need equality, if we need equity, I think women, now is the time for us to be on the same platform and be deliberate. These men do not have rocket science, by the way. The things they do, we can also do them. Because gone are the days when leadership was about muscles.
The way you do them will be the next question, probably.
Now, leadership is about having the passion. Leadership is about having the confidence. Leadership is about making a decision and saying, yes, if Richard can do this, I can also do it. If Richard can stand and talk, you, Brenda, there's nothing that stops you from standing and talking. Okay. If Richard can do sciences, you, Brenda, there's nothing that is stopping you from doing sciences. Richard does not have a unique brain. We only have to do away with these stereotypes of saying women cannot do sciences. And this goes back by our upbringing. Okay. Parents, now we bring up our children. Let us stop training our girls that all they need is to be good mothers. Because you go in a home and you find for a girl, they are buying for her dolls. For a boy, they are buying for him a toy of a car, a plane, you get it. So even they become more innovative as compared to the girl child. So parents, it's time for us to rethink the way we upbring our children.
Thank you so much, Her Worship, Deputy Lord Mayor Doreen Nyanjura'S. She has shared with us the Uganda she envisioned, the Uganda she would like to see. Thank you so much as well for following us and for being part of the show, part 1 and part 2. We are grateful. We can't go beyond this time. May God bless you, and we say bye-bye.